to another special edition of the greatest goddamn D&D stream on this world and the next. Yeah. Welcome, Goblins under the stairs.
Ooh.
You got Zorak the Destroyer ready to slash and bash your pre-420 Wednesday night away with my epic crew of destroyers. You got Wilmore Chattington. You got Fang the Mang, who did not get the memo to wear red. And of course, the greatest goddamn D&D DM in all the land here, who's wearing red, and he is red. It's Nick Gonzalez. Take it away, Nick.
Oh, thank you, Zorak the Destroyer, and welcome everyone to tonight's Wednesday night short edition of Goblins Under the Stairs. Thank you all for joining us, and let's just jump right into this thing, because we don't have a lot of time. So, last time we were all together, a lot happened, a lot really did happen. You guys fought against the Ghost Dragon of Ziskarishka within the necropolis of Azumar, slayed that Ghost Dragon once and for all, and had Frank the Sapphire Sentinel open up the locked and sealed door into the mausoleum where you guys found the sarcophagus of Hamukai, and had Frank open up that sarcophagus, and inside you guys were sure enough to find the Nether Scroll and of course the Relic of Thander that you guys were coming out here in search for in general, the Undying Flame. But as the lid opened, Hamukai and Frank simultaneously turned to ash and dust and vanished right in front of you guys, no longer living. And with a sad moment, a picture in the room shimmered to a portal to Candlekeep, and you guys quickly jumped in there, teleported, and met with Azirius, and spoke to him briefly about what happened there, and I started to ask him a couple questions about the Black Moon and what he knew about it, if any books were here about it. He told you guys about a prophet and oracle of sorts that is around Candlekeep, that maybe has some information, and sure enough he did. He's had some sort of visions relating to this Black Moon, calling it the Umbral Eclipse Cataclysm, and yes, had some strange things to say about the Eldritch horrors that will be emerging from it, and the void, and the rift between different planes, and how different monstrosities and aberrations will be emerging from it, and all sorts of different horrors. And Fang was kind of able to piece together, maybe out of his jabbering that he spit out, that maybe cutting off the thread of the sweater, as his metaphor said, that maybe that will help stop unraveling it. So whatever that may be, that thread that you guys need to cut, you need to still, of course, find out. But with that all, you guys left Candlekeep, began flying down to the Nelithar Isles. About 3 days in of travel, until Wilmore spotted some action going on down below. He took to Sanity's vision and flew down there, seeing a bunch of the tribal nomads of the Nelithar Isles being chased by some undeads, including a giant undead Tyrannosaurus Rex, who just chewed them apart, ripping them apart, eating their flesh, and leaving them into bits. Taking that in mind and letting the rest of the party know about that, you guys continued on your travels until you got to the island that you were looking for. Fang and Wilmore took down to the air and began to scout around, spreading out to cover a bit more ground. Fang spotted a bit of maybe locations where some maybe nomads or some sort of humanoids were squatted up and boarded, and Wilmore spotted a path of sorts. And as they reconnected and got back together, Fang had great perception that day. He was able to see that there was a large obelisk kind of sticking out of the ground in front of a cave, cliff-like structure. Not a cave, but yeah, a large cliff rather. And that is where we are going to be picking it up. Fang and Wilmore kind of seeing this about a quarter-mile away. What do you do?
I just kind of give Chattington the look and give him a little nod back to the airship. Just kind of insinuating that we should probably let Zorak know what we've seen.
Makes sense to me. Kind of fly back up and discuss next course of action with everyone.
So, Zorak, there's quite a bit that we've seen here. aside from the villagers, we've noticed an obelisk in front of this cliffside. And it seems as if there may be, well, potentially access inside the cliff. Um, I think, gentlemen, we best fly down rather carefully so we don't get seen to the obelisk, see if there's anything going on with that, and then proceed into the cave access of the cliff.
I think that makes sense. Or do we want to maybe take a look at that campsite first? I mean, if it is bad, it might be nice to get the jump on them.
It's not a
There's a
bad
cave site too,
idea.
by the way, Solrak.
How?
Something tells me there's not going to be many friendly people around these parts.
Oh, that's for sure. How far away was the campsite relative to the obelisk?
I'd say it was probably about another. There are a few like small campsites littered around. All of them within a mile's range.
Ooh.
Do the campsites? I mean, when I saw the undead chasing the native people, would there anything be there for me to believe that those campsites were native or not?
If Fang would describe how they look to you and everything, say that there were 3 of them that he spotted that looked like they were probably native ones, but then one of them, maybe not so much, as it was kind of like more of like a squat building that was kind of covered up with brush and stuff like that. Not something that's not as like nomadic.
What exactly did you guys see in these campsites? Enemies? Who was there?
I don't think we really investigated much.
Nonetheless, I don't think we saw anyone that really
Worried.
stood out
The
aside
jump
from.
on. And if we get the jump, whatever's on the campsite, alert whatever's inside the obelisk. That's what you guys worth to.
I understand what you're saying. However, if we just simply bypass all the campsites, went right to the obelisk, which is right in front of the cliff, I think that's one less thing that we have to worry about. I mean, I understand what you're
If
saying
we could
again.
be healthy and avoid with some in combat for a while.
But if it's a mile away,
Get it
it's almost like, what's the point?
That's fair enough,
Man.
unless there's something there that could help us. But I don't know. I mean, I'm game to just get on getting.
I mean, we have the cubes.
I'm always ready to slash and bash here.
I think that's the mentality we have to have upon landing. But I think we have everything that we need. I don't think we necessarily need to go to camp. We have the cubes. I can use a little bit of something up my sleeve that would help us throughout going through the cave. I think we go right to the obelisk.
Then, I guess. Let's do it to it.
We going to the campsite or we going to the obelisk?
I think we're gonna go to the obelisk. It sounds like.
Sure. So, how do you guys want to approach it? The
Has it
airship
been long enough for me to use Griffey again?
Yeah, it has. The airship, of course, could fly on over and drop you guys down, or you guys could drop down from a quarter mile away or something like that to walk there, or Griffey and Cuomo could fly you guys down one at a time from wherever or whatever. Just let me know.
I think from a stealth standpoint, it might be nice to drop down with Cuomo, and I mean I can fly down myself on my broom, a little bit away and then approach it.
And Cuomo would technically only have to go once. I could always just use my my quarterstaff.
That's true.
It is true.
Yeah, so
I
maybe
see it.
we set a landing zone and we all aim for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
You guys going to the obelisk or a bit distant from it, or
I like the like a 5-minute walk to it.
5-minute walk? Sure.
And then before we go though, like while we're all sitting here talking, I've got my like hand on like Solrak's calf, and he